Kathleen, and I'm here today with Larry Evans and Michelle Corbitt. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good.
How you
Thank
doing?
you so much.
Doing good.
Yeah, we're so excited to see you today. So thank you for being here. So when did you first want to be an actor?
I guess probably at a pretty early age. I did like plays and things at my church. My sister, who's 5 years older than me, was my director, so she always gave me the lengthier parts because she knew she could make me memorize it and learn it. But I just loved it. I always made lots of creative plays, so I've just always loved being different characters.
That's a great sketch where two girls that are making the younger girl, you're going to learn this 10-page monologue. You're going to play the leading part in this play. I'm just playing a supporting character. What was the first show you were in?
Well, outside of high school or?
Yes.
Outside of high school and college, it was As You Like It.
Oh.
And it was at a theater. We did it in a park. So it was very interesting. Always trains going by and trucks, and it was fun though.
It's kind of like acting at the Halley. When the train goes by, everybody else is stop and wait. Did you have a mentor?
You know, I've been thinking about this question, and I didn't growing up in things, but I want to say, and this is going to sound cheesy right now, but Kathleen, you would be my mentor. You've taken me under your wing and shown me, like as an assistant director, kind of shown me the ways of directing, but you also just take that time to get to know me as a person as well. So thank you.
Oh,
I agree.
Well, thank you. Wow. Have I ever given you any good advice, or has anybody else ever given you good acting advice?
I would say a lot of the other fellow actors, I mean, you've given me good advice too. I can't think of anything that stands out right this moment, but you've been, like, you always look at the little details, which is awesome. Gus Allen has probably given me one of the best advices about being nervous about auditions. He always says, just go and have fun. Like, it doesn't matter what they think as long as you feel good about it and you're having fun.
Yeah.
That's right.
Excluding me, who is your favorite theater or movie actor?
John Cusack. I've always loved him. I feel like he has a way about him on screen that he's funny, but he's not trying to be funny. I just love him. He's going to marry me one day. He just doesn't know it.
I had to tell you my John Cusack story. We got to take it offline.
Okay.
Oh,
it's not bad. He's really a nice guy.
You'll have to tell me later.
Yeah, he's a really nice
guy.
Yay!
Well, going back to your advice about auditions, did you ever have a really bad one? Like, you remember one that was the worst?
Not an audition, but like an event that happened around my audition. So my first audition here in North Carolina was at Burning Coal Theater. And I was very nervous because it was my first time. Plus, it was Burning Coal, so I had heard great things about them. And that they just have like this prestige for me for some reason. And I did my monologue. I did everything that I was supposed to, and I was all energetic afterwards. And I got in my car and reversed into a car behind me. And I got out, and I looked at the bumper, and it was all banged up. And I was thinking, I couldn't have hit it that hard. But then I went into the theater and asked whose car it was, and then I messed up their audition because now they're all nervous. But they come out with me to the car, and they're like, oh, that happened a couple days ago. So they had just gotten into a car accident and messed up their bender. But so it didn't really mess up my audition, but it was just, I always relate that to a bad audition.
Oh, yeah.
That poor person too. I wish I wouldn't know who it is now, but it was so long ago that I wouldn't recognize them. But they probably always remember that girl that hit my car before I auditioned.
See, there's another sketch. You're driving in traffic, you're nervous, you're going to an audition, and someone cuts you off, and you scream at her and yell at them, and then you go to the theater and they're directing, you're auditioning for them.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
I'm still in it.
What is your favorite show you've been in and why?
Usually the shows that I like the best are usually because the ensemble's so tight.
Yeah.
One of my favorites so far has been Four Weddings and an Elvis. Just everybody, even though we kind of had 4 different scenes, everybody just melded together so well. And everybody was just supportive of each other. And it was just a fun experience.
That was a really great show. I laughed so hard at that show. That was
Oh, good.
very, yeah.
Is there a role you've always wanted to play?
I've always wanted to be Poppy from Noises Off. As I'm growing older, though, I'm like, you know what? I think I'd rather be Dottie, because, of course, that would be an even more fun role. But yes, just anything really from Noises Off. I would love to be in Noises Off.
Absolutely. Raleigh Little Theater did it many years ago, and Haskell directed it, and I auditioned for it and did not get cast. But one of the reasons I was very nervous about, he did an entire part of the audition where all it was pantomime, because, you know, act 2 is they're not talking, they're all backstage. And so there were people there that were so great at being able to tell an entire story with their body. And I just was like, ah, and but so I went to see it, of course, and it was wonderful. It was just a great production. Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, I auditioned for it once in California, and I got called back for Poppy. But I had never worked with that theater before, and they had no idea who I was, so they went with somebody that they use all the time. But I was so close.
That's great. That is great. What type of actor do you like to be with on stage?
The supportive kind, of course, like the ones that are easygoing usually and aren't going to berate you if you mess up, but usually they can laugh it off or play off of you. I think as an improviser too, that helps me to know that they've got my back and I've got theirs. Like we can just play off of each other and have fun and trust each other.
That's good.
That's cool.
You know, we all have great moments on stage. Can you give us one of your great moments, or what makes a moment wonderful?
A great moment. Maybe I like when the audience, like you can hear them reacting to it, even if it's verbal or like the sighs or the kind of moments. One of my favorite is Larry and I did a show together called Isn't It Romantic? And my character never interacted with anybody else in the cast. I was supposed to be a voice recording, but Kirsten decided to let me come out and do monologues as a voice recordings. And my character is very kooky. And one night, Josh Henderson, who was also in the show's mom, was in the audience, and she's very verbal with the show and always comments. And my character comes out with a wine bottle in her hand and her shirt kind of mismatched. And his mom was like, "Oh no, girl, no." And just like moments like that, I love, because I feel like they're really with you in the show.
That's great. I liked that show a lot. And I thought it was a great choice for you actually to be live, you know, because then we could see your physicality and what you were going through while you were giving that, you know, those monologues. So yeah. What's one of the funniest things that ever went wrong on stage?
I haven't had a lot of like funny moments. I've had things where I've gotten hurt or, you know, things like that, but nothing like super duper hilarious. I mean, it was funny to me in Four Weddings and an Elvis because my shoe broke and I could hear it thunking because it was like a heel, so I could hear it thunking across the stage, but nobody else noticed. So it was just funny to me.
You're talking about shoes, right?
Yeah, a shoe, a high heel. Well, it was like a low heel, I guess.
Oh gosh.
I might know the answer to this, but if you couldn't be an actor, what else would you want to do in the theater community?
So I've dabbled in writing and I've dabbled in directing. Probably directing. I would definitely like to do a full-length play at some point. I've only done about 40 minutes. It's probably the longest I've directed. But also, like, I definitely would miss the acting part because directing is fun and assistant directing is fun. But when they go up on stage, I feel like the director gets forgotten. And then that's when the cast really bonds. So I would miss that part. But I also want to take theater and improv and incorporate it into therapy once I finish getting my license for social work. So I want to do like therapy with theater, and it's called expressive arts theater or expressive arts therapy, where I use theater and improv and just all of it together. So I feel like that would be my perfect world if I couldn't act, but I'd still want to do that as well.
When I was in Wilmington, my acting coach taught lawyers acting lessons.
Oh,
Just to be
nice.
more comfortable and stuff.
Huh. Oh, that's cool. Michelle, how did you get into improv?
I took a class in California, but I never remembered that it was improv until I came out here. I went to a comedy work show one year for my birthday, and they had a thing in the flyer that said, come take a class with us, and I did it, and I haven't turned back, so.
That's great. That is great.
If you could go back in time, and it wouldn't be very long for you, and you could talk to the younger version of you when you first started performing on stage, what advice would you give yourself?
That was very kind, Larry. I'm much older than I look. I would tell myself just to be confident in who I am. Like, I think I still need to tell myself that, but just to trust your instincts and to have fun and not worry about it. If you get a part, you get a part. If you don't, try again.
Well, we should ask the director why she's here. I've discussed my auditions with Kathleen when I've auditioned for other shows. And Kathleen, would you say that the idea is just to make a strong choice as an actor, and even if the choice is wrong, a good director is not going to dismiss you just because you didn't make the choice they would have picked for you?
Yeah, I think making a choice is important, just so that the director knows that you can do that, because there's sometimes you'll say, well, that was great, but can you do it like this? And if they don't, because they might think it's wrong, then you just don't think that they could ever take your direction. Right. So yeah, I think make a choice, make it big, and do whatever. And I think Chris Brown said this in his advice thing. He said, if I were to give myself advice, it would be to do whatever the director says, even though you think they're crazy. Right. but just so you know that they can make a choice, Yeah.
I auditioned years ago for REP way back before, other people were running it. And I'm from the South, and I was doing a Southern accent for, I think they were doing Streetcar or something. And he said, is that supposed to be a Southern accent? It's like,
that's great.
Oh, no.
What's the first thing you want to do, Michelle, when the lockdown, the quarantine's over and we get back to normal?
I want to do a show. Definitely. I want to be re-immersed into that culture and that community. Also, I just want to go see a movie in a movie theater and hang out with my friends and give hugs.
Yeah, I know. When will that happen?
I don't know.
I know. I miss, I was telling somebody, I'm getting a lot more work done because I'm in my house doing it, but I really miss all those people at the theater that just stop in your doorway and talk to you. That's such a great thing for me, and it breaks up the day. And now I'm just, too quiet.
You need to go hang out in Mark's doorway and be like, Mark, what's going on?
I know. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. That was just
Thank you guys for inviting me.
That was lovely. And I do look forward to doing shows and going to the movies and seeing you in real life.
Yeah, we need to have a glass of wine.
Yes, thank you.
We definitely
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Michelle.